The economy is teetering on the edge and the consumer is down and out. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. I'm going to show you what's actually going on and why March 2024 is the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's break it down and I'll show you what I mean. The first thing is people run out of their inflation created savings in roughly March of 2024. This chart comes from the San Francisco Fed. All right. Cumulative excess savings held by US households was in the trillions of dollars and will be depleted soon enough. Of course, this to be taken with a grain of salt because there are other things that have happened ever since. There's a lot of, problem that had existed. There were many things that came into place, PPP loans, moratoriums, so much debt at the time, all these things, okay? So many factors to really take into account. But what I want to explain to you is that March of 2024 happens to also be the time in which the BTFP, the Bank Term Funding Program, this is the temporary or emergency program that the Federal Reserve set up as like a lifeline to the banks when SVB, Silicon Valley Bank, and all these others started to crash. And so March 2024 happens to be where the market, the futures, where they were basically betting that the Federal Reserve is going to cut for the first time in this cycle. It's all coming to a head in March 2024. Very interesting. Now, there are many other things happening in 2024. Financial conditions, when we measure that broadly, not just what the current interest rate is, but looking at other things. Financial conditions have been easing for several months, if you can believe it or not. And that allows businesses and people to basically say, let's take a breath, let's take a breather. Things are getting easier. You may not sense that, you may not see that, but when it comes to the risk-taking investor, this is what's happening behind the scenes. It is a very worrisome thought because we usually go wily coyote over the edge, not sort of, stepping on the brakes before we get to the cliff. It's usually on and over and then, oops, we've gone too far. That same thing happens with the consumers. They don't stop in advance. They borrow and spend like there's no tomorrow. This is talking about, let me get into it. Discount supermarkets perform particularly well over the period of time of saying that, hey, we're doing well. You're looking at people requiring the dollar stores more than ever before. Their performance has been good. People are going to Costco. People are going to Walmart as well, but dollar stores being one of them. They are looking for discounts and deals. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not shopping around, but what I have heard, I saw all of your comments, read through all of them, many comments, and we're talking about boots on the ground of people saying, I went to my local Walmart, I went to my local mall, so on and so forth, and it was significantly less busy than prior years. Coincidence? Maybe. Anecdotal evidence? Yes. But I love that. That's what I really like to look at because I don't want to say, spending was $10 billion this year. That means nothing to me. Does it mean anything to you? Look, I sell online, all right? And when I see those Amazon Prime, we did, $1 billion in sales on Amazon Prime Day. Do you know that that's a false number? It gives you a false look at it. Why is that? Because I can tell you this personally. The days leading up into Boxing Day, into Prime Day, into any sort of big sale day, they start to decline. You get this huge spike in sales on those days. And by the way, you have to put a discount or else buyers may not purchase. And the days after that, there's also, this decline that persists. And then it starts to go and, go back to where it was before, the trend. When you measure it overall, like over a 30-day period, I find it's probably actually worse. Okay? Because people are deal hunting. and they wait, simply wait and wait and wait. They maybe add it to their cart, and then they just wait for the day. And hey, is their price cheaper than it was before? Yes or no? That's it. That's the way it works. Okay. And so that's what's going on. The consumer is not where it was before. We're not where they were before. This is showing us the labor market, talking about the fact that, look, we have an issue with unemployment. It needs to get historically, it needs to get above 4% for there to be an official problem, a worry that this is now taking off. We're not there, obviously. In fact, it started to tick up to 3.9% and then came back down. That's U3 unemployment. It's not a real measure of how many people are unemployed, but hey, that's the one that they use. When we look at that economy, stabilized, the job market stabilizing, and that is a very important factor for recession. Why do we care about this? Because if we go into recession and it's going to be mild, well, then the Federal Reserve can simply start cutting interest rates. The markets can go up further from here with potentially no or little to no decline. That's key. That's important. People are waiting for this epic crash, but we need a catalyst. Very important as well. More borrowers turning to lenders of last resort. This is out of Canada, but it applies to everybody. And we see this all the time. I mean, it is sad, whether it's buy now, pay later. I mean, you're going to go buy a TV and then you're going to use buy now, pay later. I mean, my goodness, when the last time I even used a TV? I don't even know, but you don't need another one. Let me tell you, okay? Doesn't matter how small your TV is. Remember back in the day, I remember I had the one with the wood paneling on the side, and that wasn't our only TV, but I used that TV because that's where my space was, and had to switch the channels with the knob on that thing. Okay, we made do, right? No big deal. This is it, showing us the financial conditions, and you could see that yes, over the past couple months here, it has been easing back to the levels we saw in the middle of 2022. I know it's hard to believe. Hey, interest rates are still at the highest they have been in this cycle. What are you talking about? Well, it's like a whole thing, financial conditions index, which you can look up to see the whole breakdown there. But there's just use the term broadly, financial conditions. Okay, we have this as well. What it shows us is that you've got Costco, you've got Walmart, basically looking at just becoming a place where people can shop for gold. It's saying, look, this is not direct to consumer and so on. All I'm trying to say here is it doesn't matter who's selling it and who's not. What I'm trying to say is people are buying physical gold. Why? Why would they buy physical gold when they could buy a stock? Why would they buy it when they could buy anything? It's because they trust that the gold will be there next year, 10 years, 20 years. I'll buy this piece of gold and I'll pass it down. That's what they're thinking when they buy it. Not that it's going to become the next big thing. They don't want that. They just want it to have some value. So you see the consumer and what they're doing. I think that's interesting. And I'm also, I do this all the time. Robots, Korean tech firm Naver aims to expand use of its robots. And this is just showing the one example of, you'll have the guy in the back, or maybe it's a robot, like Flippy the robot, will take the stuff from the kitchen, put it on this robot. It brings it to your table. You pick it up off the table. Presumably you would push a button or it would know it has a sensor or something. It goes back to the back room and that's it. No server, no waiter, and by the way, no tip, right? And I would see this potentially being at all the lower priced restaurants. They can remain lower priced by eliminating that human resource, as they like to say. If you want to stay on top of this, then you've got to get on my live classes. So I've got 2 live classes, which is basically the Friday session where we look at the financial conditions, where we break it down every single week so that you understand the intricacies of all of this craziness, this insanity. And then the Sunday class is where we talk about building an online business so that we can have geographical diversification, so that we can have currency diversification, so that we can have a secondary source of income in case our first disappears. Interested at all? Just read the website. Link is in the description. I'll put it right at the top there. Get on the live classes. I hope to see you there. I got a lot of communications between people just asking questions about it, wanting to know about it. But the information is right there at the link. You click on that, get everything you need to know. I hope to see you on there. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button on your way out. When you do, you're supporting me. Thank you for that. And as always, I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.